I'd like to call this meeting of the Board on Electric Generation Siting and Environment and the Environment to order. Before moving to the agenda, I'd like to introduce the alternates representing the permanent members of the Siting Board. Starting from my right, your left, we have Louis Alexander, alternate of Basil Sagos, Department of Environmental Conservation, Dr. Elizabeth Lewis Michael, alternate of Dr. Howard Zucker, Department of Health, John Williams, alternate of Richard Kaufman, New York State Energy Research and Development Authority, and in New York City, Vincent Ravashir, alternate of Howard Zemsky, Empire State Development Corporation, and I'm John Rhodes, Public Service Commission. Secretary Burgess, are there any changes to the agenda?
Good morning. There are no changes to this morning's agenda.
Thank you. With that, we'll get into it. We have case 16F0062, which is the application of 8 Point Wind LLC for a certificate of environmental compatibility and public need pursuant to Article 10 to construct a wind energy project presented by Sean Mullaney, Administrative Law Judge, Department of Public Service. Michelle Phillips, Administrative Law Judge, Department of Service, and James McClymans, Chief Administrative Law Judge, Department of Environmental Conservation, are available for questions. Judge Mullaney, please begin.
Good morning, Chairman Rhodes and members of the board. I am one of the two assigned presiding examiners over this case. Sitting to my right is Judge Phillips, and sitting to my left is the Associate Examiner, Chief ALJ, James McClymans, and will be available for questions at the end of my remarks. I'm going to offer brief remarks this morning on case 16F0062. You have before you a proposed order of the Siting Board granting a certificate of public convenience and necessity to 8 Point Wind LLC, the applicant in this case. The grant of the certificate would be subject to the detailed conditions that are included as Attachment 1, or Attachment A rather, to the proposed order. 8 Point proposes to construct and operate a commercial-scale electric generating facility within the towns of Greenwood and West Union in Steuben County, New York. The project will include 31 wind turbines having a total maximum generating capacity of up to 101.8 megawatts and will include associated facilities. This case is notable because most of the parties in the case, in fact, all of the active parties in the case, and this includes the applicant, the Department of Public Service trial staff, the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, the towns of Greenwood and West Union, and the New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets, all support some or all of the proposed certificate conditions which are attached to the proposed order. As such, the recommendations before the Siting Board represent a significant and largely successful effort to settle this case. The success of these efforts has materially contributed to the efficient and orderly administration of this proceeding. The proposed order before you is supported by a robust and extensive record. It supports all of the findings of the Siting Board that the Siting Board must make under the Public Service Law, Article 10. The evidentiary record was compiled during a one-day hearing that was held in the town of Alfred, New York. The Article 10 review process overall was lengthy, fair, and open, and included both pre-application and post-application phases. Public notice was provided with respect to all significant milestones in this case. There were multiple instances of opportunities for public outreach and education and opportunities for public participation. The applicant sponsored 2 open house events, maintained a website, and reviewed and responded to public comments. The department held 2 well-attended information sessions, which were followed by on-the-record public statement hearings in the immediate area of the project. Pre-application intervenor funding was awarded to the towns of Greenwood and West Union. Application stage intervenor funding was awarded to the towns and also to a local advocacy group the Citizens for Maintaining Our Rural Environment. That group, Seymour, was an active party in the case. Project information has been widely available to the public through various means, including the department's document and matter management system, the applicant's dedicated project website, at local libraries, at the 2 open houses hosted by the applicant, and at the information sessions that were sponsored by the Department of Public Service. There have been approximately 155 public comments submitted by 67 people throughout the Article 10 review process, which started in 2016 and continued through the spring of 2019. Those who support the project cited, among other things, the economic benefits to the local area, including new, temporary, and permanent jobs, and the need for renewable energy. Project opponents cited the disruption of the natural beauty of the project area, adverse impacts on wildlife, concerns about health impacts due to noise and shadow flicker,
You're frozen.
reduced
Me.
property
Oh,
values.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, but will they hear me?
I don't, I'm gonna
Sorry,
check.
we're hearing some background noise. If people are observing, please could you mute your microphones?
Okay.
In general, those that oppose the project view the adverse impacts as outweighing the benefits of the project. The proposed certificate conditions seek to address many of the identified environmental impacts of the project, including impacts that have been the subject of public commentary. Pursuant to Public Service Law 168, Subdivision 3C, the order includes a finding by the board that the probable environmental impacts of the construction and operation of the project will be minimized or avoided to the maximum extent practicable based upon the applicant's compliance with the certificate conditions that are contained in Attachment A to the order. The order also includes the finding by the board that the construction and operation of the project will serve the public interest based on the consistency of the construction and operation of the facility with energy policies and long-range planning objectives and strategies contained in the most recent state energy plan, as well as additional social, economic, and other factors deemed relevant by the board. To ensure that the public interest benefits of the project are realized, Certificate Condition 71 requires that the applicant track actual jobs created, as well as earnings and output created during project construction and operation, and to track tax payments to local jurisdictions. The examiners recommend that the board adopt the proposed order, including the attached certificate conditions with appendices, all of which are attached to the order. Thank you for your attention this morning. I and the other examiners are available for any questions the board may have.
Before we continue, we have a little glitch with New York City, and we can just reset this before we have discussion. I understand that Mr. Ravishir could hear us, but we have a frozen frame here, so we just would like
Okay,
to
thank you.
reset before we have
Please do that,
discussion.
yeah.
Thank you. So we'll go off the record. Thank you.
Yes, I can, and I did hear the entire presentation.
Thank you. With that, may we resume?
Yes, I think we can go back on the record. Thank you.
Thank you very much for bearing with us. So thank you, Judge Mullaney. Thank you, Judge Phillips and McClymans as well. Our charge as a siting board is to consider for approval projects that meet the state's energy system needs as long as they are appropriately sited with due accommodation of environmental and community considerations. I applaud this process, I applaud the parties involved, and I applaud this outcome. It's been open, it's been fair, and I think the strong base of parties agreeing to the settlement is testament to that. I am going to be in favor of this recommendation. Mr. Alexander, Lou, any comments or questions for the
No questions for the panel.
Dr. Lewis Michael,
No questions.
John Williams,
No questions.
Vince Ravashir?
No questions.
Thank you. That's all very good. So I will now proceed to call for a vote. My vote is in favor of the recommendation to approve the application of 8 Point Wind LLC for a certificate of environmental compatibility and public need, with conditions as described. Mr. Alexander, how do you vote?
I vote in favor.
Dr. Lewis Michael, how do you vote?
I vote in favor.
Mr. Williams, how do you vote?
In favor.
Mr. Ravashir, how do you vote?
In favor.
The matter is approved and the recommendation is adopted. Secretary Burgess, is there anything further to come before us today?
Nothing further for today.
Thank you all. This is a very nice conclusion of a very good process. Thank you.